Do you want to tell these guys what you did?
Ball sack idea was Taylor's. Very clever. This is always fun. I have found little snails, little fish. Oh, it stinks.
Congratulations. Today you became a Spinnaker man. We are Mike and Taylor. And these are our dogs, Penny and Lucy. We sold our home and nearly everything we owned, moved aboard a 40-foot boat, and sailed from Seattle. This is the story of us making our way.
At that point, we're kind of talking, and as I say those words, he goes, "Oh, mother! There's a cop behind us." And sure enough, we're getting pulled over. And then all of a sudden, he's like, "Oh!" His clutch goes out, and so he's just like slamming on the clutch pedal, and he can't get into Gary's.
This fog rolled in pretty thick. Everything is wet, but it is kind of beautiful. So I'm gonna take advantage of the weird weather to get a couple of boat projects done. Actually, just last night, it was actually kind of rolly in here, and so the the boat's going back and forth, and the boom is just sort of swinging back and forth all night. And I hadn't really noticed, but our sail pack here, I lifted it up, but it was just rubbing on top of the Dodger, and it's just chafed right through. So we'll have to probably get that fixed or figure out how to patch it at some point. But for now, make some adjustments to these lazy jacks. I think I can hoist it up another inch or two, and hopefully that'll solve it. So, all right, actually, the first project I'm gonna do is not really a project. I just need to fix the wrap on our Genoa. When we came in, we furled it up. It just didn't quite wrap perfectly, which happens a lot with our sail. Basically, just like the UV cover that's on the edge of the sail sometimes doesn't fully cover everything. Anyway, it leaves a little bit of the Dacron on the actual sailcloth exposed, and the sun here is so strong that it just kind of attacks all the fibers. So I can take advantage of the light wind and unroll it and just roll it back in and hopefully get a better wrap. So not really a project, just a little something for me to do this morning. We're gonna be here for a little while with the Genoa wrapped up, so that will do a much better job of protecting our sail from sun's rays. Next thing on the list is raising this sail pack. Okay, I think I got the lazy jacks tightened, so I'll drop the main and we'll see. Hopefully it gets rid of this chafe problem. Okay, I think that's a lot better. Look at all that clearance. It's a little embarrassing I didn't do that months and months ago. Man, I'm a dummy. Okay, so that's 2 projects down. Water maker next. Next little project is kind of actually more of a routine thing. I do it every few days. I don't know if I've talked much about our water maker. It's a Spectra Cape Horn Extreme. There's kind of 2 cool things about it. One is that it's a modular system, so the different components can be installed in different parts of the boat. But the really cool thing is it's super energy efficient. Like with both feed pumps running, I think we draw about 15 amps. So there's a strainer and then a filter and then the membrane. And the strainer and the filter just kind of get filled with like sea life, and then it kind of makes our production water a little bit smelly. It's still low salinity, but it'll just sort of smell kind of like the ocean in Maine at low tide. It's just kind of that sea life stink. So they've been in for a couple days, so I just need to take the strainer out, take the filter out. I rinse them in fresh water, kind of let them soak in fresh water for pretty much the whole day, and then I'll just put them up on deck and let the sun sort of bleach them clean. And I run 2 filters, I just keep swapping them back and forth. So this is where the feed pumps live, under our berth. And so this is the one that does the primary filtering and gets kind of gross and clogged up. So I'm gonna pull that out. We'll see how green it is, and then we'll give it a clean. So yeah, you can see how green and gross that is, and it does not smell very good. All right, that's step 1. And then we got to do the strainer down here in the bilge. So here's the intake seacock for the water maker, and then just a little strainer. So we'll just take that guy out, make sure that the seacock is closed so we don't flood the boat. Always a good thing. Always fun. I have found little snails, little fish. Ugh, it stinks. All sorts of little goodies in this thing before. Smell it? This thing gets real stinky. So after those things soak, then I literally just hang it up on deck and just let the sun kind of bleach everything clean. And it's pretty amazing. That filter will be not brand new looking, but it'll get very white again. All right, this filter will go in. All right, another project down.
Well, hello from the San Carlos Marina and good morning. It's 8:30 and Mike and I just drove you from the little bay where we had been anchored for the last, I don't know, maybe 5 or 7 days into the marina where we'll be for about a week to take care of some business and do some stuff. We just pulled in here and we managed to tie up. There's 0 wind right now, which is great. We did that on purpose. We got up really early to come in here. When there would be no wind because we knew it was gonna be tight. But if we get even like the slightest bit of wind, we're gonna have a really big problem. So Mike just went to go talk to the marina to see if we can move slips. And I'm gonna show you how tight this is here right now.
So I just talked to the office. He spent a long time looking for other slips, both for like shorter stays and whatever. And I know we're like looking at some open slips here, but he said he couldn't find anything.
We need to rearrange some fenders then, because this is not good. So part of the problem with being 4 inches from this boat is just the really dramatic difference in how and where we sit and where their rub rail is, where our tow rail is, where their lifelines are. We're trying to figure out where to put our fenders, and we don't have that many fenders to begin with, but because if we hang the fenders off down there, then this is still gonna push into this because this is the widest part here, and so the fender's not doing anything. So we had to kind of find a way to sort of hang our fenders laterally against our tow rail so that they're higher up, so that they're closer to the wider part of that boat, if that makes any sense.
The ball sack idea was Taylor's. Very clever. Very clever.
We'll see.
Complete ball sack.
So basically we just want the fenders to sit higher on our boat. That's the short version. But we can't really affix them. We can't tie them really any higher than the tow rail because of the pressure that's going to be created on stanchions, and that's just not good for anything. So this is the solution to get them to sit a little bit higher by tying them laterally instead of having them hang down for buoys or fenders that don't have like a bottom connection. So we just kind of made one.
Yeah, so let's tie it on both ends, and we can hang it on the tow rail, kind of fore and aft. Yeah, because if you tie it on the stanchions, anytime like our boat moves different from his, it puts a huge amount of pressure on the stanchions, and it could break them, bend them, break a lifeline, and that's a nightmare. So
we're gonna tie this up. Well, here comes the wind, so we are about to figure out if this little system works, at least for today.
I think this is pretty good.
Tell these guys what you did? What you did, Mike?
I bought a new outboard. Well, a new old outboard, new to us outboard. We had a 6 horsepower Yamaha, and there was like, not really a need to have thing obviously for us because we had a good outboard, but I've been wanting to get a 2-stroke 15 horsepower because they're lightweight and we could go on better dinghy adventures because they could get all 4 of us up on a plane. Anyway, this guy came on the net selling exactly the engine that I was hoping maybe at some point I might buy for a really good price. Plus he had a friend who was looking for basically our exact engine, so we were able to just kind of do a swap. So we got a new outboard, and we're gonna go out for our first adventure with it.
It's apparently quite powerful. It's also super fugly. It's like custom painted and not really my style, but you know. It's a warm day today, so we are gonna throw the kids in Chandler and connect this very fast new dinghy, and we're gonna go for a little adventure.
It's very French or American, but I think that's the French flag, isn't it? Is that the? I think it's very French. Yeah.
Should we have seatbelts in this thing? Very slowly and reasonably. Slowly and reasonably.
You definitely got to be a little careful because it can get you going so fast that,
Yeah.
like, if you lose control, like skip off a wave and get
Yeah, I
sideways.
can actually, that's like scary fast.
Yeah.
I do not need to ride that at full throttle, ever. That's what she said. You know, we used to watch Delos videos where they would like wakeboard behind their dinghy and we would laugh and laugh and laugh. And we actually could do that now.
Yeah, easily. Ugly old beast. Want this, huh? Penny's doing a good water pee. All right, there's a buoy out here in this bay, which is a artificial reef. It's a an old minesweeper from World War II. So I want to go snorkel on it and free dive on it. Well, now with this new dinghy engine, we could easily just dinghy all the way around in like no time.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the thing to do.
We could drive across the Sea of Cortez in that thing in 2 hours.
Yeah. Actually, the previous owner with that size gas tank, he said he calculated and you could go across the sea in it.
Wow.
Stop giving back. Honeysuckle, fresh cut grass. I could really use some stuff like that.
You've got such a big house. Look at you. There's so many hermit crabs in the water here.
Tell me all that you've seen, all the colors, summer love. Memories washed in every shade of green and all the colors, summer love.
Slept all night, guys.
Bathing in the turquoise blue, losing track of time with you. Another peach pie sunset view, sleeping in the afternoon. No place to be and nothing to prove.
Doing a thing. It's me. Buying a Spinnaker. It's been on my want list since we got the boat. I didn't think I was going to be buying so many toys here in San Carlos.
That's what I was just about to say. Wow. San Carlos, this has been really interesting because there's been so many cruisers coming through here, and this time of year is really interesting because everybody is preparing for hurricane season, and most people end up taking their boats out of the water and put them on the hard for the whole summer because it gets blistering hot down here. It's the hurricane season, so you can't really like explore or do too much. And so everybody goes back home for like 6 months and then comes back down. So there's a huge amount of people right now who are cleaning out their boats and getting rid of stuff and taking sails down and getting these boats ready to sit on the hard for 6 months. And so every morning there's somebody on the net with something that they're getting rid of. And someone came on this morning and they had a Spinnaker. And so look at us. We now have a Spinnaker, which is very exciting and wonderful for sailing. But man, this week here has been a little bit more than we bargained for. But sometimes it'd be like that. So I guess.
Well, I didn't know I was going to be buying things, so much stuff when I came here. But now, where the hell are we going to store this thing, Taylor?
I told you.
Where?
Your side of the bed.
Oh.
Congratulations. Today you became a Spinnaker man.
You know how much sailing we're going to be able to do in light winds?
Yeah.
Hopefully. You just got to figure out how to fly a Spinnaker because we've never done it before. I think this is going to mean we can motor hopefully a good bit less. I hate motoring. Alright, well, let's go eat some pizza. So dirty, so dirty. So dirty. I don't even know where to start. My Mexican visa is about to expire in like 2 weeks. So I need to go renew my visa. I need a beer.
So how was your day, Mike?
I can't. My day. So my day happened because to renew my visa. The plan was to go back to the United States on a bus, back to Tucson, turn around the next day and come back and renew the visa. But yesterday, a guy
came on the radio here, local cruiser, and said, hey, I'm driving up to Tucson tomorrow. There's an extra seat in the car. If anyone wants to join me, you're welcome to come. So I talked to them over the radio. Some guy named Dave I've never met before. And we agreed like I was gonna ride up with him. You know, we'll split gas, great. So he wanted to leave at 6 a.m. this morning. And so I got up bright and early before the sun, dinghied in, and met this guy Dave. And I kind of started to like think to myself last night, like, I don't know who this guy is. Maybe he's smuggling drugs across the border, whatever. Meet him, seems, I don't know, he's a guy. He's a little older than I expected. Walks me over to his car. It's an old piece of junk Jeep. So I'm a little like, oh sweet, this needs to take us like 7 hours up to Tucson. But whatever, he starts it up, it runs. We start driving, and as you go out of town here, well through town here, there's roundabouts and speed bumps. And everyone, there's a few other cars on the road, everyone is slowing way down for the speed bumps. And Dave's like, you don't gotta slow down for these things, you just take them really fast. And so he's just hauling ass over the speed bumps. And he's getting really angry at all the cars that are slowing down for the speed bumps. Literally, he's like, look at all these idiots slowing down for these speed bumps. And then he would just continue talking normally. He's like, oh yeah, so I've been cruising the Sea Cortez for like 5 years. Look at this idiot. So he does it like by the third roundabout. At that point, we're kind of talking. And as I say those words, he goes, oh, there's a cop behind us. And sure enough, we're getting pulled over. Cops pull us over. And as he's getting pulled over, he's like, this is just like amazing. He just gets pulled over. He's like, I wasn't even, he's going, well, I wasn't even speeding. Guy comes up and he's barely, he's speaking only Spanish. He doesn't speak any English. And Dave immediately was like, I wasn't, yelling at the cop. Like, I wasn't speeding. The cop's like, tranquilo, like everything's okay. They use a translate app just to be like, why are you driving so fast? And I just kind of motioned to the guy and I was like, it's because of the bumps. The guy's like, yeah. Anyway, cops were super nice. They're just like, slow down, please. Like, will send us on our way. Jesus. And so we continue on the way, and things become a little bit more normal at this point. But we're kind of driving, and we go through a military checkpoint, which was really, we just breezed right through. And we're literally leaving the military checkpoint, and there's a car driving in the left lane, Seattle style, really slow. And Dave, of course, starts losing his freaking mind again. And he's screaming at this guy, and he's like right on the guy's ass. And I'm just trying to like talk to him in a calm, normal voice, because that would actually work to kind of like bring him back down. And then we're going, and finally the car moves over. It's a stick shift Jeep, and so he like slams it down in like third gear, and he's like, ah, this guy. And then all of a sudden he's like, ah. His clutch goes out, and so he's just like slamming on the clutch pedal, and he can't get into gear. He's grinding gears trying to get it, and he can't get over. So we slowly like pull over. And we get out, and I can smell hydraulic fluids. I'm like, this isn't good. Like, I know this isn't good. Clutch is done. We can't reconnect it. You literally pull over. We kind of look at things real quick, and the first thing Dave does is goes and takes a shit in the bushes.
Oh my God.
And so while he's doing that, I crawl underneath the car and find the loose hydraulic line that had busted off. So I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, so what are you thinking is the solution now, Dave? This, by the way, we're 3 hours away. Like, we are in the middle of freaking nowhere. He was like, okay, there's this organization called the Green. You call them the Green. They're actually called the Green Angels, and they're kind of like a roadside assistance thing. I tried to call them. I couldn't get that to connect, but he wanted to get us up to Nogales because that's closer in the direction he needs to go, where we can then spend an unknown amount of time waiting to get his car fixed, shacking up in a hotel room, I guess. And I was like, Dave, no, I am getting back to San Carlos tonight. He's like, but you gotta get your visa renewed. I don't care about my visa right now. I am getting back to San Carlos tonight. I don't care what else happens. That is what's gonna go on. And we couldn't get through to these Green Angels, and so he just kind of sat down in the car, and I was like, so you have any ideas? And he's like, well, the Green Angels patrol the road, so like eventually they'll drive by. And I'm like, so the plan is to sit here until one of these Green Angels hopefully maybe drives by. I was like, that's not a plan, Dave. He's like, nah, that's not a plan. He ended up, do you know anyone in San Carlos who can come up and help us, give us a ride, anything, whatever. And he's like, well, I know this guy Garth. So he calls Garth, and Garth is like, hey, you have Mexican liability insurance, which is required. He's like, yeah, he's like, they'll cover your tow. I should have thought of that like way earlier, but at any rate, we called them. They were awesome. They got a tow out to us. We're waiting for a tow truck to take us most of the way back to Hermosillo, and then hopefully from there I'll get a bus to Guaymas, and then from there a cab to San Carlos, and still no visa. Adventures of cruising life. It was just, we had to wait 2 hours for the tow. Our tow truck driver was awesome. Drove us all the way back down to Hermosillo, like 2 hours down the road. Dropped me at the bus stop. Just like, okay, what are you gonna do, Dave? Like, what's your plan? He's like, well, we're gonna go to the shop here in Hermosillo, and hopefully you can fix it today, and if not, I'm just gonna sleep here. Like, I don't know. So Dave's up in Hermosillo. Then I got on the bus. The bus was great.
Yeah.
Dropped me right here. That stuff was all easy. But what time did I just got back at what, 7? 7.
You left at 5:30.
5:30. I got nothing done.
Wow, Mike, what a day. I'm so happy you made it home.
Yeah.
Well, you won't forget today for a long time, Mike.
Married a lady, divorced her, married another lady. She died, remarried the first lady. They're still married. He regrets that. He regrets ever meeting her.
Oh my God.
It was just nonstop. And I contemplated after getting pulled over by the police. I was like, should I just be like, hey man,
No.
take me back.
Yeah, this is
Have
good.
fun. I should have. All right, let's eat some pizza.
Let's eat some pizza.
Well, I think-
I'm happy you're home, Mike.
I'm gonna eat one slice of pizza, and then I'm gonna shower, and then I'm gonna eat the rest of the pizza.
I like that plan.